Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Wits and Brains. I have the lovely Miss Catherine with me today, and I am Casey, if you didn't know. Today, we are talking about being a big, fat liar. We're not talking about P-H-A-T here. We're talking about F-A-T. And Catherine loves their little acronym. So, Catherine, tell us what fat liar stands for.
All right,
All right.
let's do this. Fat, not like piggy porky fat. We're going to go fat, F-A-T. Okay, it is important to be able to pick out a liar in business because, like, the average person tells 0 to 2 at least a day. But there are like prolific liars out there that it's constant. Like every other sentence has a lie in it. So if you're going to be a good businesswoman, businessman, you need to pick out those liars. So F-A-T. F is familiar. Someone like Casey, who is a marketing genius, could probably pick out a liar if we were in a room of marketers quicker than I could because I go leadership. So if you have familiar surroundings, you can probably find that liar or familiar situations. If you do something over and over again, like I have leadership training, I do something over and over again. When I'm asking questions, I can find the one who's full of BS because I know that area, I know that environment. So stick with what you know, and you'll find the liars quicker than the other people will. The A, answer. When you ask someone a question and they can't answer why they're answering it that way, they're full of it. They're full of it. Don't trust them. They're probably lying to you. And then the last thing that I just found really remarkable, people in teams lie more than individuals. So if you have a project and you say, hey, Susie Q, I always use Susie Q, so I'm apologizing to all the Susie Qs out there. Hey, Susie Q, how's the project coming along? She will probably tell you if it's just her. But if she's in a group of like 5, 10, whatever, if they all say it's going fine, Susie Q will probably say it's going fine. So people are more apt to lie. So there you go. Big fat liars, Casey. Hey, have you ever had anyone lie to you, Casey?
Oh my. Yeah, just, a time or two. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, I launched a website for a client, and this is one of our largest clients. So of course, I always make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, but with your bigger contracts, like to me, I'm like double, triple, quadruple checking everything.
Yes.
So with this particular client, things were a mess with their hosting. I mean, like when I looked at it, I was like, who in their right mind set this stuff up? Because it is so convoluted. I don't even know where the beginning is for like finding their hosting. So I'm looking into stuff. They have hosting on, I thought, just 2 different platforms. I learned that it was actually 3 different platforms, and their email hosting is within another company. So they're utilizing 4 different companies to take care of hosting between their domains, their website, and their email. So like my brain was already about to explode. So I finally got things primarily to one account. And then I'm looking at the other account. I'm like, okay, we're going to transfer. I hate Wix. Sorry for any Wix lovers. I hate Wix. So I'm transferring over from Wix, and I reach out to the company that has control to one of the other hosting accounts. And I said, I need you to update these DNS records so that, the website will work. And the guy, he sounded a little incompetent to be nice.
To be nice.
Yes. So a day later, I get a text from the client, Casey, our email's not working. I'm like, this guy, this genius, goes in, updates the record, and I explained to him on the phone, we are getting away from Wix. We are moving to solely GoDaddy. And I need you to update these records. So he updated one portion, didn't update the mail record. So that's why it broke. And then they blamed it on me. And I'm like, he's lying because I don't even deal with your emails. They do. And they updated the record. I did not. So again, familiar. Like I was familiar with the situation. And if you were in that situation, you probably would have just like banged your head against the desk.
Right.
Because I have, done it several times and understand it. I was able to pick that out really quickly. And it's frustrating, because you try to remain professional when really I just wanted to call and be like, hey, you idiot, like, because you're incompetent, don't blame it on me.
Right. Right. And he was an idiot. And so one of the things like I have dealt with is people will say, I have done this with these people, my workers. And I'll be like, oh, okay, so we can move on to the next step because this has been done. And then I will find out little pieces by little pieces that they did not do those things. And then what that does is it's really serious when you're the person like me trying to take a workforce and move them here from here. What it does is now we not only have to backtrack, we have to build some trust. So if they would have just said in the beginning, hey, I sucked at whatever, could you do something? Yes, we can start here. So I have a thing for salespeople, a training. And if they're just honest right from the beginning, we can kick ass. But if they lie or really exaggerate something, it sets us back literally months. So that's why figuring out liars is a good skill to have, especially as a small business person, because you don't have months.
Exactly.
You don't have months, especially big fat liars.
And not only does it set you back in productivity, but it sets the relationship back as well. Like you said, you have to create that trust. And for me, as the owner, like I'm relying on people on my team to trust them and, so that they will carry out things. And it was funny, we were on a team call, at one point in my business, and we're talking, and the person, I guess, didn't realize that I could see when the last time they had logged into something. And I also would get notifications like, oh, such and such hasn't logged in, like you might want to check on them essentially. So we're on the call and this person's like, oh yeah, I was just going through there yesterday. And I'm like, that's funny because you haven't logged in for over 3 months. So you want to try that? Like, don't lie to me, because if you're a big fat liar, I will have a big call out in front of everyone.
That's right. When large companies hire me to do the leadership coaching, my online program, I used to not, but I now tell the group, I can see exactly where you're at and what you're doing, because whoever's paying me gets the results. And if we're supposed to be on chapter 20 and they haven't done anything since chapter 3, I have to tell the person paying me, which is always their boss.
Yeah.
So now when I start out, I want to warn them. Hey, I can see your quizzes. I can see where you've read. I can see everything. I have to tell your boss. So you have to do it. Yeah. Because that, not everybody's excited to do whatever their boss wants them to do. And so, I'd have to turn in people for not doing what they're supposed to be doing because someone's paying for it.
Yeah.
Someone's paying for it. So
Thank God they didn't have that when I was getting my degrees, because I would have been in trouble. My my mom always makes fun of me, and she's like, "Yeah, Casey just breezed through her degree. She didn't read a thing." I'm like, "Mom, stop telling everybody." Like, but I I honestly, I don't think I ever finished a book until I finished college. Like,
wow.
yeah, and the professors, "Oh, did you read that?" Of course.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
hang on. Hang on. Catherine wants to call bullshit on Casey. She did not
yeah.
read it.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm an adult now, and I don't do those things. I own up
Right.
to my mistakes and shortcomings. So
Right. Yeah, I remember the first time I was looking at a group, realizing no one's going forward with me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be like big old tattletale, but I'm going to be a big old tattletale. So, yeah. So now that doesn't happen because I forewarned them. But, it's good. Like when we're talking about the asking the why question, that's what people, whoever's listening to us, there's a skill right there. We're going to give you bonus skills today. That one right there, if you're ready to hire someone, or if you have a question, ask the damn question and then say, why? Why is that? Why is
yeah,
that I should do A, B, and C? And then when the people cannot answer it, they may not be your peeps. They may not.
yeah. And I'm going to take it a step further. So one thing that I've learned is why can um, automatically create like some sort of defense, but when you're calling out someone on their lies, if they're lying, they're going to be much more defensive than they would normally be. So you can also kind of play their game and switch it around and be like, well, what is your reasoning for that? And if they still can't answer you and they're still defensive, like, hello, red flags all over the place, that they're a
Yeah.
big fat liar. So,
I mean, I've had to prove things that I've said before to clients, especially when I'm working with a group or something. If I say, hey, such and such increases productivity, they're going to ask me why. And then if I say something, but they're like, I don't really know, she's right. I've had to bring in scientific research and show them. So I take that very seriously. And if I can't spout it out quick, I know why I'm saying whatever I'm saying. So that's who you want to hire.
yeah,
That's who you want to do business with. Only do business with people that are smart in their area.
yes. And it's funny that you say that. I created a proposal for a prospect like 2 weeks ago. And during my consultations with them, I always ask, what is your lifetime value of your customer? And what is your return on investment? And this person was like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to hire you, blah, blah, blah. And we were looking at like a $7,500 contract, and they were writing a book. And I said, well, what are you getting for each copy that's sold? And they're like, well, I don't know. I have to look that up. And I'm like, you should absolutely be able to spit that out immediately, because that's your income. Like, you put all this money out to be published and things. And if you can't answer that, then that's an issue. And when I asked why don't you know this? Well, I'm new at this. I didn't know. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that you're going to publish a book and you don't know how much you're going to make on it?
Yeah.
That's not smart at all. And
Interesting.
I said, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. Like, I can't, not only do you not even know where the information is, but I don't want to take $7,500 from someone if they're making like 20 cents, for every copy they're selling. And I say 20 cents, like exaggerating. Come to find out, they were only making $1.20 on each book sold. I'm like, do you understand how many copies you'd have to sell to even pay for my services?
Right. And
So,
you know what? You probably saved their life. I mean,
yeah,
at least you open their eyes, even if it stung them. If it opens your eyes in business, I've taken plenty of stings, but if it helped me produce more, I am okay with that. I can
yeah,
definitely, I can definitely be okay with that.
yeah. And I have made it a point as, someone like I do, just like you, B2B services.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like, as a business to have overhead for whatever
Mhm.
reason. And I refuse to be a big fat liar to someone and tell them what they want to hear.
Right.
So I will be very upfront with them. And if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. But I ask those why questions
Right.
to dig deep into figuring that out. One, so I can determine if they're a BSer, but two, to show them that I'm not a BSer. And I always, always, always start my client relationships with, hey, just so you know, I'm always going to tell you what I feel you should do,
Mhm.
but I'm going to back it up with why. It's not just going to be like my true feeling, like, oh, I think this is going to be great. You should do it. No, you should do this because of X, Y, and Z. And
Yes.
when I start the relationship out like that, just like you, when you say, hey, just so you know, I can see what you're doing. Like, don't try to pull the wool over my eyes.
Don't try it.
Yeah, it really sets up a good trusting relationship, and it tends to work out a lot longer.
Yeah. Now, when I talked about teams too, like I don't want to negate the value of teams. I'm just saying have your eyes and your ears wide open when you're the boss or working with a team,
Yeah.
because there's tons of like dorky research. There's tons of like research since 19 whatever 100 of people just agreeing with each other because they just have to be sitting next to each other.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
don't.
And if you
Yeah.
have razor stubble, people are really not going to tell you the truth because they're scared.
They're scared to death. So,
Yeah,
so what do we take from this? It's good to know who's telling you the truth or not.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to be able to pick out the ones that are BSing you, and you can't be a BSer.
right.
I'm a
All of our
firm
wisdom.
yes, I'm a firm believer in like you attract what you are. So if you're attracting a lot of BSers, you might want to take a look in the mirror.
That's right. That's funny because I just recently had someone say, every time I meet one of your clients, they're so happy. And I'm thinking, well, it's probably because whoever would be miserable would find me so irritating that they're not going to hire me. So maybe that's a good thing. So yes, smart people, happy people. Love you. Love you.
Yes, absolutely. So smart people, happy people, not prissy pants.
Yeah.
Speaking of prissy pants, next week we are discussing admit it, you're a prissy pants, which I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of scared because I probably get told that I'm bougie like every day. So,
Okay. I've never put that with you, but I can't wait to learn why.
so stay tuned. Next week, we're going to be talking all things prissy pants, and we'll see you then. Thank you for joining Catherine and Casey on Wits and Brains.